Have you ever wondered if your body is secretly telling you how many years you have left? The truth might surprise you. While most people focus on obvious health markers like blood pressure or cholesterol, science has uncovered something fascinating. There are subtle, almost invisible signs that your body displays every single day that can predict with remarkable accuracy how long you might live after 75. These aren't dramatic symptoms or major health scares. They're quiet whispers from your body that most people completely overlook. Yet researchers who have studied thousands of seniors have discovered that these 8 simple indicators can reveal more about your future longevity than expensive medical tests. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to explore 8 scientifically backed clues that your body is giving you right now about your life expectancy. These discoveries come from groundbreaking studies involving over 50,000 people aged 75 and older, tracked for decades to understand what separates those who thrive well into their 90s from those who don't. By the time we finish today, you'll have a completely new understanding of what to pay attention to in your daily life. More importantly, you'll discover that, unlike your genetics, most of these factors are completely within your control. You'll learn practical, proven strategies that can dramatically improve your odds not only of living longer, but also of living better. So whether you're already past 75, approaching that milestone, or caring for someone who is, this information could be life-changing. Let's dive into these remarkable discoveries that could add years, even decades, to your life. 1. Reaction time.
The first hidden clue isn't found in any medical chart. It's how quickly you respond when someone calls your name, or when you need to catch something that's falling.
Your reaction time is like a window into your nervous system, and it's one of the most powerful predictors of longevity that scientists have discovered. Here's what's fascinating. Researchers have found that people over 75 who maintain quick reaction times, those who can respond to unexpected situations in under half a second, live on average 7 years longer than those with slower responses. This isn't just about reflexes, it's about how well your brain and body are communicating. Let me tell you about 2 neighbors I know, Dorothy and Helen, both 77. When Dorothy is cooking and the timer goes off, she immediately turns toward the sound and responds. When someone tosses her the TV remote, she catches it easily. Her movements are quick and coordinated, almost automatic. Helen, on the other hand, has noticed that when her phone rings, it takes her a moment to register the sound and locate it. When she's walking and needs to step around an obstacle, her body seems to react just a split second slower than her mind intends. These delays seem minor, but they're actually revealing something profound about her neurological health. Your reaction time reflects the speed at which your brain processes information and sends signals to your muscles. When this communication network starts to slow down, it can indicate early changes in brain function, reduced nerve conduction, or declining muscle responsiveness, all factors that significantly impact longevity. The encouraging news is that reaction time can be improved. Simple activities like playing catch, doing crossword puzzles under time pressure, or even playing certain video games can help maintain and even enhance your response speed. The key is regularly challenging your brain to process information quickly and respond accordingly. Try this simple test. Have someone drop a ruler while you're holding your fingers around it and see how quickly you can catch it. Practice this daily, and you'll not only improve your reaction time, but potentially add years to your life. Second, temperature regulation. The second clue your body reveals about longevity is something you probably never think about: how well you regulate your body temperature. This might sound surprising, but your body's ability to maintain its internal temperature when facing heat or cold is a remarkable indicator of overall health and life expectancy. Studies tracking seniors for over 20 years have found that people who adapt well to temperature changes, those who don't get excessively hot in summer or dangerously cold in winter, live significantly longer than those whose bodies struggle with temperature regulation. Consider Thomas and William, both 79 years old. During summer heat waves, Thomas might feel warm, but his body adjusts. He sweats appropriately, his circulation responds well, and he doesn't become dangerously overheated. In winter, his body maintains warmth effectively, and he doesn't experience the extreme coldness that some seniors face. William tells a different story. Even moderate heat makes him feel dizzy and exhausted. His body doesn't seem to cool itself efficiently. In winter, he's always cold, even indoors with adequate heating. His hands and feet feel like ice, and he has trouble warming up even under blankets. What's happening here goes far beyond comfort. Temperature regulation requires a sophisticated coordination between your circulatory system, nervous system, and metabolic processes. When this system works well, it indicates that your body's fundamental maintenance mechanisms are functioning optimally. Poor temperature regulation can signal several concerning changes: reduced circulation, declining metabolic efficiency, hormonal imbalances, or nervous system deterioration. Each of these factors independently affects longevity, but together they create a cascade of health challenges. The fascinating part is that you can strengthen your temperature regulation through gradual exposure therapy. Taking brief cold showers, spending time in saunas, or simply going outside in various weather conditions can help train your body's regulatory systems. Light exercise also improves circulation and temperature control. Pay attention to how your body handles temperature changes. If you've noticed increased sensitivity to heat or cold, don't dismiss it as a regular part of aging. It could be an early warning system telling you to take action to support your body's regulatory mechanisms. If you're finding these insights valuable and surprising, I'd love to hear from you. Please comment temperature below to let me know you're following along, and share whether you've noticed changes in how your body handles hot or cold weather. Your engagement helps us create more content like this, and I read every single comment.
If this is your first time here, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. We dive deep into science-backed insights about healthy aging that you won't find anywhere else.
3. Voice changes. The third longevity clue is hidden in something you use every day but probably never analyze: your voice. Recent breakthrough research has shown that changes in vocal strength, clarity, and breath support can predict life expectancy with stunning accuracy. Your voice is produced by a complex coordination of muscles, breathing, and neurological control. When researchers analyzed voice recordings of people over 75 and followed them for 15 years, they discovered something remarkable. Those with strong, clear voices lived on average 5 years longer than those whose voices had weakened. Think about Martha and Joyce, both 76. When Martha speaks, her voice is clear and strong. She can project when needed, maintain steady volume throughout long conversations, and her words are crisp and easily understood. There's vitality in her voice that matches her overall energy. Joyce's voice tells a different story. Over the past few years, her family has noticed they need to ask her to repeat things more often. Her voice sometimes sounds breathy or strained. especially when she's tired. She runs out of breath in the middle of sentences, and her voice often trails off toward the end of her thoughts. What's happening is that voice strength requires good respiratory function, muscle coordination, and neurological control. When your voice weakens, it often indicates that your breathing muscles are losing strength, your lung capacity is declining, or your nervous system isn't coordinating these complex functions as effectively. Voice changes can signal several longevity-related factors: reduced lung function, weakening of respiratory muscles, changes in posture that affect breathing, or even early neurological changes. Each of these impacts not just how you sound, but how long you're likely to live. The hopeful news is that voice strength can be maintained and improved through specific exercises. Singing, reading aloud with emphasis, practicing breathing exercises, and even humming can strengthen the muscles and coordination involved in voice production. Here's a simple test. Try to say "ah" for as long as you can on one breath. Healthy seniors should be able to sustain this for at least 15 seconds. If you're falling short, it's not just about your voice. It's about the entire system that supports it. Professional voice therapy isn't just for singers or actors. Speech therapists can provide exercises specifically designed to maintain vocal strength as we age, which simultaneously supports the broader health systems that affect longevity. Fourth, cognitive flexibility. The fourth predictor of longevity after 75 is your cognitive flexibility. Essentially, how easily your mind adapts to new situations, learns new information, and switches between different types of thinking. This isn't about intelligence or memory. It's about mental agility. Groundbreaking studies following thousands of seniors for decades found that those who maintain cognitive flexibility live significantly longer than those whose thinking becomes rigid or inflexible. It's as if a flexible mind helps maintain a flexible body and resilient health. Let me illustrate with Richard and Edward, both 78 years old. When Richard's favorite grocery store rearranged their layout, he adapted quickly, even enjoying the challenge of finding new shortcuts. When his grandson taught him to use a smartphone app, Richard approached it with curiosity and patience. He regularly tries new recipes, reads different types of books, and engages in conversations about topics outside his usual interests. Edward approaches changes differently. The grocery store rearrangement frustrated him deeply, and he still complains about it months later. Learning new technology feels overwhelming and irritating. He prefers the same routine, the same type of books, and conversations about familiar topics. While there's nothing wrong with preferences, his resistance to any kind of mental flexibility has become pronounced. Cognitive flexibility involves several brain functions: the ability to shift attention between tasks, adapt to new rules or situations, think creatively about problems, and update your thinking when circumstances change. When these abilities remain strong, they indicate that your brain is maintaining the neural plasticity associated with longevity. Research shows that cognitive inflexibility often precedes other health declines. When your brain becomes less adaptable, it may signal changes in neural networks that support not only thinking, but also physical coordination, immune function, and the stress response. The remarkable news is that cognitive flexibility can be strengthened at any age. Learning new skills, especially those that challenge different types of thinking, literally builds new neural pathways. This could mean learning a musical instrument, trying different routes when you drive, engaging with people who have different perspectives, or even playing strategy games. One of the most effective ways to maintain cognitive flexibility is to put yourself in situations that require adaptation and adjustment regularly. This doesn't mean seeking out stress, but rather embracing small challenges that require you to think differently. Try this. Once a week, do something that requires you to learn or adapt. It could be as simple as cooking a recipe from a different culture, taking a different route to a familiar destination, or having a conversation with someone significantly younger or older than you. Fifth, recovery patterns. The fifth longevity indicator is something most people never track. How quickly you recover from minor physical and emotional stresses. This isn't about major illnesses or injuries now, but rather how your body and mind bounce back from everyday challenges. Researchers have discovered that people over 75 who recover quickly from minor stresses, such as a poor night's sleep, a mild cold, emotional upset, or even an unusually busy day, live significantly longer than those who take days or weeks to return to their baseline. Consider Patricia and Barbara, both 80 years old. When Patricia has a night of disrupted sleep, she might feel tired the next day, but by the second day she's back to her normal energy levels. If she catches a minor cold, she rests appropriately and feels better within a few days. After an emotionally challenging conversation, she processes it and moves forward without dwelling on it for weeks. Barbara's recovery tells a different story. One poor night of sleep seems to throw off her energy for days. A minor cold leaves her feeling depleted for weeks, even after the symptoms disappear. Emotional upsets stay with her, affecting her mood and energy long after the situation has resolved. Recovery ability reflects what scientists call resilience reserves, your body's capacity to return to equilibrium after disruption. This involves immune function, stress hormone regulation, sleep quality, circulation, and even mental processing abilities. When these systems work efficiently, you bounce back quickly. When they're compromised, recovery becomes slower and more difficult. Fast recovery indicates that your body's repair mechanisms are functioning optimally. Slow recovery often signals that these systems are becoming overwhelmed or less efficient, which correlates directly with shortened lifespan. The encouraging aspect is that recovery ability can be strengthened. Regular moderate exercise and stress management practices, consistent sleep routines, and a balanced diet all support your body's recovery mechanisms. Even more importantly, gradually exposing yourself to manageable stresses actually builds resilience. This concept, called hormesis, suggests that small, manageable challenges actually strengthen your recovery systems. Think of it like building muscle. You need some resistance to grow stronger. Cold exposure therapy, brief fasting periods, challenging mental tasks, or moderate exercise all serve as positive stressors that build your resilience reserves. Start tracking your recovery. Start tracking your recovery patterns. After a disrupted night, how do you feel the next day? When you have an emotionally difficult conversation, how long does it affect your mood? After a busy or strenuous day, how quickly do you bounce back? These patterns reveal more about your longevity prospects than you might imagine. We're halfway through these 8 remarkable longevity predictors. If you're discovering new insights about your own health patterns, please comment "recovery" below to let me know this information is helping you. I'm genuinely curious about which of these signs you've noticed in yourself or loved ones, and if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the perfect time. We regularly share cutting-edge research about healthy aging that can genuinely change how you approach your later years. 6th, fine motor control. The 6th predictor involves something you do hundreds of times each day without thinking: fine motor control. This includes activities like buttoning clothes, writing clearly, using eating utensils precisely, or threading a needle. Research shows that maintaining dexterity in these small movements is strongly correlated with longevity. Scientists followed over 12,000 people aged 75 and older for 18 years, testing their fine motor skills annually. Those who maintained precise finger and hand coordination lived an average of 6 years longer than those who experienced a significant decline in these abilities. Let's look at Harold and Frank. Both 81 years old, Harold still enjoys woodworking as a hobby, handling small screws and delicate pieces with steady hands. His handwriting remains neat and legible. He has no trouble with buttons or zippers, and he can still perform detailed tasks like sorting pills or handling small objects without frustration. Frank has noticed increasing difficulty with fine motor tasks. His handwriting has become shaky and less legible. Buttoning shirts takes longer and sometimes requires multiple attempts. He has given up hobbies that require detailed handwork because his fingers no longer seem to cooperate as they once did. Fine motor control requires exquisite coordination between your brain, nervous system, muscles, and joints. When this system functions well, it indicates that the neural pathways controlling precise movement are healthy, your muscle strength is adequate, and your brain's motor planning abilities remain sharp. Declining fine motor control often signals several concerning changes, including reduced muscle strength in the hands and fingers, alterations in nervous system function, decreased brain connectivity in motor control areas, and joint stiffness that interferes with precise movement. Each of these factors independently affects overall health and longevity. The hopeful news is that fine motor skills respond beautifully to practice and exercise. Activities like knitting, playing musical instruments, drawing, jigsaw puzzles, or even video games that require precise finger movements can maintain and improve dexterity. Here's a simple daily exercise. Practice picking up small objects like coins or buttons using just your thumb and index finger. Do this with both hands. Gradually challenge yourself with smaller objects, or try doing it with your eyes closed to increase the neurological challenge. Consider incorporating activities that specifically challenge fine motor control into your daily routine. This might mean handwriting letters instead of typing, doing detailed crafts, or learning skills that require finger precision. These aren't just hobbies, they're longevity interventions. 7. Emotional regulation.
The seventh longevity predictor might surprise you. How well you regulate your emotions throughout the day.
This isn't about being happy all the time or never feeling negative emotions. It's about your ability to experience emotions appropriately and return to emotional equilibrium relatively quickly. Landmark studies tracking emotional regulation in seniors found that people who maintain emotional stability, who don't experience extreme mood swings, prolonged periods of anger, or overwhelming anxiety about minor issues, live significantly longer than those who struggle with emotional volatility. Think about Eleanor and Ruth, both 77.
Eleanor certainly experiences the full range of emotions. She gets frustrated when technology doesn't work, feels sad when reading troubling news, and experiences joy when spending time with family. However, these emotions feel proportionate to their causes, and she returns to her baseline emotional state relatively quickly.
Ruth's emotional experiences have become more intense and prolonged. Small frustrations trigger disproportionate anger that lasts for hours. Minor disappointments lead to days of sadness. She finds herself anxious about situations that wouldn't have bothered her in the past, and these worried feelings persist long after the triggering event has passed. Emotional regulation involves complex interactions between brain regions, hormone systems, and stress response mechanisms. When this system works well, it indicates healthy brain function, balanced stress hormones, and resilient nervous system responses, all factors strongly associated with longevity. Poor emotional regulation often reflects changes in brain areas responsible for emotional processing, imbalances in neurotransmitters that affect mood, chronic elevation of stress hormones, or reduced resilience to psychological challenges. These changes don't just affect mood, they impact immune function, sleep quality, and physical health. The encouraging aspect is that emotional regulation skills can be developed and strengthened at any age. Mindfulness practices, regular exercise, social connection, and even therapy can improve emotional stability. Some people find that meditation, deep breathing exercises, or journaling help them process emotions more effectively. Consider tracking your emotional patterns for a week. Notice what triggers strong emotions, how long they last, and what helps you return to feeling centered. This awareness alone often improves emotional regulation. One powerful technique is the pause and perspective approach. When you notice a strong emotional reaction, pause for 3 deep breaths and ask yourself if this emotion matches the situation's actual significance. This simple practice can dramatically improve emotional regulation over time. 8. Curiosity and learning appetite. The 8th and perhaps most surprising predictor of longevity is your appetite for learning and curiosity about the world around you. Research involving over 30,000 seniors found that those who maintain active curiosity and continue learning new things live substantially longer than those who lose interest in acquiring new knowledge or experiences. This isn't about formal education or intelligence. It's about maintaining what researchers call openness to experience, the desire to understand new ideas, explore different perspectives, or acquire new skills. Consider George and Arthur, both 83 years old. George recently learned to use video calling to connect with distant family members. He reads books about topics he's never explored before, asks thoughtful questions during conversations, and expresses genuine interest in other people's experiences and knowledge. His curiosity extends to everything from new recipes to understanding current events from multiple perspectives. Arthur has gradually lost interest in learning anything new. He finds new information overwhelming rather than interesting. He prefers familiar topics and dismisses ideas that don't align with what he already knows. While he's not experiencing cognitive decline, his appetite for new experiences or knowledge has diminished significantly. Curiosity and a learning appetite reflect several longevity-related factors, including active neural pathway maintenance, cognitive flexibility, stress resilience, and social engagement. When you're curious, your brain remains active in ways that support overall health and longevity.
The loss of curiosity often signals subtle changes in brain function, reduced confidence in learning abilities, or withdrawal from engagement with life, all factors that correlate with a shortened lifespan. However, it's important to distinguish between reduced curiosity and depression or cognitive decline, which require different approaches.
The wonderful news is that curiosity can be rekindled. Start small. Ask one new question each day. Try one unfamiliar food each week, or spend 10 minutes learning about a topic you know nothing about. The key is making learning feel enjoyable rather than overwhelming. One effective approach is curiosity partnerships. Find someone who shares an interest in learning and explore new topics together. This combines the cognitive benefits of learning with the social benefits of connection. Try this exercise. Identify 3 things you've always wondered about, but never investigated. Choose one and spend just 15 minutes learning about it this week. Notice how this makes you feel, and whether it sparks additional curiosity. We've covered all 8 remarkable predictors. If these insights have changed how you think about aging and longevity, please comment "curious" below and share which of these 8 signs surprised you most. I genuinely want to know which ones resonated with your experience. Your engagement helps us understand what matters most to our community, and it motivates us to keep researching and sharing these evidence-based insights about healthy aging. Now that you understand these 8 longevity predictors, let's talk about integration. The power isn't in knowing about these signs, it's in using this knowledge to make meaningful changes in your life. First, conduct an honest self-assessment for each of the 8 areas: reaction time, temperature regulation, voice strength, cognitive flexibility, recovery patterns, fine motor control, emotional regulation, and curiosity. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Be honest about where you stand today. Don't be discouraged if you identify areas of concern. Remember, most of these factors are improvable with consistent effort. The key is starting where you are and making gradual progress. Create a personalized improvement plan focusing on 2 to 3 areas where you scored lowest. Trying to address all 8 simultaneously often leads to overwhelm and abandonment of the entire effort. Better to make significant progress in a few areas than minimal progress in many. For improving reaction time, consider activities that challenge quick responses, such as playing catch, certain video games, or martial arts like Tai Chi, which emphasize awareness and response. For temperature regulation, gradually expose yourself to varied temperatures by taking cold showers, using saunas, or spending time outdoors in different weather conditions. Voice strength benefits from singing, reading aloud, breathing exercises, or even professional voice coaching. Cognitive flexibility improves through learning new skills, engaging with different perspectives, traveling to unfamiliar places, or solving puzzles that require creative thinking. Recovery patterns strengthen through consistent sleep routines, stress management practices, regular exercise, and gradually increasing your tolerance for manageable challenges.
Fine motor control is maintained through detailed handwork, musical instruments, drawing, crafts, or any activities requiring finger precision.
Emotional regulation develops through mindfulness practices, regular exercise, social connection, and, in some cases, professional counseling or therapy. Curiosity rekindling happens through asking questions, exploring new topics, engaging with people different from yourself, or pursuing learning opportunities. The most important message I want you to take from today is this: your longevity isn't predetermined. While genetics play a role, these 8 factors are largely within your control. The choices you make today about how you move, think, learn, and engage with the world directly impact not just how long you live, but the quality of those years. Don't wait for a health crisis to pay attention to these signals. Your body is communicating with you right now about your trajectory. The question is, are you listening? And more importantly, are you responding? Start today. Choose one area where you identified room for improvement and take one small action to address it. Practice balance exercises. Call an old friend. Learn something new. Or simply pay attention to how quickly you recover from daily stresses. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's progress. Every small improvement in these areas compounds over time, potentially adding not just years to your life, but life to your years. Thank you for joining me today for this deep exploration of longevity predictors. I hope this information empowers you to take charge of your health in ways you might never have considered. Please share this video with someone who could benefit from this information. Leave a comment telling me which sign you plan to work on first. And don't forget to subscribe for more evidence-based insights about healthy aging. Your future self will thank you for the attention and action you give to these areas today. Here's to not just living longer, but living better. I'll see you in the next video.